If you're filing a case with USCIS, prepare to wait 30 or even 60 days to get a receipt. Yes, 30 or 60 days. These are updates I received from the American Immigration Lawyers Association National Conference that we had last week. And I want to present to you even more updates in this video about receipt delays, cases being rejected for no reason, and many other interesting updates. So, what are you waiting for? I'll see you on the other side. In this video, we're going to talk about USCIS basically delaying issuing receipt notices. I mean, receipt notices are the basic thing we want to get when we file an application with USCIS. And right now, it's taking forever. And we're going to talk about this, what it means for you, and a few other interesting things that are happening right now based on recent updates that I was able to get at our National Conference of Immigration Attorneys from last week. But before we talk about that, if you're here for the first time, welcome, and make sure you subscribe to our channel. Click that bell to be notified because videos come out every week. You don't want to miss the videos and the lives. And give us a big like, because if not, YouTube is not going to recommend the video to more people, and people are not going to be able to see this video. All right, so I am Jacob Sapochnick. I am an immigration attorney. I'm located in San Diego, California, and I've been practicing immigration for the past 16 years, and we help clients in all 50 states. And before I talk about the substance of this video, I wanted to thank you guys who are watching my videos, supporting, commenting, sharing, giving me ideas for videos. You guys are the best, so I do this for you. So let's dive in right into this to this videos updates. So 60 days, 60 days to get a receipt note. This is crazy, and you've been noticing this. I mean, this is one of my biggest complaints right now. People are filing cases with USCIS, and they're not getting receipts. Even checks are not being cashed. So first of all, based on this update that we received, USCIS specifically admitted that currently it's taking 30 to 60 days to actually get a receipt notice. And the suggestion is that if you file, whether you file it with the lockbox or with the service centers, it's the same thing. They're experiencing delays. The suggestion is that if you file the case, the first thing I suggest you do is, if you use a check, I usually recommend for you to use checks. You should be able to check with your bank and see if that check was cashed. If the check was cashed, you want to print the back of the check, and you can see that if the USCIS cashed that check, there's going to be your case number. It's going to be on the back of that check. Okay? Normally, they should be cashing the checks, obviously, before a receipt is going to be issued. So if you use a check to file your application, which I highly recommend you do, then you'll be able to see already with the bank printout of the check the case number of your petition, if it's a WAC or EAC or whatever the case is filed. And then you're going to be able to log in with that receipt notice on the USCIS website and actually get your case status before the receipt is actually going to be issued. Now, if your checks have not been cashed yet, which is happening as well, remember, right now people are waiting almost a month for the checks to be even cashed. So obviously it's not going to do any good if your checks have not been cashed. That means that your receipts are not going to be issued as well. But the first indicator is, even before getting a receipt notice, is tracking the payment method. So if your checks have been cashed, receipt numbers are going to be in the back, and you're also going to be able to track the status of your case. But if after 6 weeks you're not getting a receipt, the recommendation from USCIS is to email the lockbox or the service center and make an inquiry. Make sure you keep very, very good records of shipment, receipt. If you send it by FedEx or USPS Prime, make sure you keep all these records, because it's really, really important. If you don't have proof of delivery, if you're going to lose that and USCIS is not going to find that information, then you're not going to be able to make any progress with your case. So that's the first thing. Delays are happening. The second thing that is happening is that specifically with the I-751s, the petition to remove conditions, those cases, the USCIS had a glitch in their system, in that service center where they were processing them, and none of the 751s were getting any receipts. So essentially those cases were locked. They were not issuing receipts, they were not working on them. There was a major problem with the 751 processing. That was an update that we received from USCIS at that conference, and I'm passing it right here to you. So if you're filing a petition to remove conditions, I-751, do not be surprised that you're not going to get your receipt for months until they're fixing this issue, and hopefully it's going to be fixed in the next few weeks. But if the reason that you haven't received your 751 notices is because of that, because there was a problem with their system, and they admitted it. So they admitted it that 751 applications specifically had their own problem with the receipts, and those were even further delayed. Some people report even 8 to 10 weeks without a receipt on a 751. And again, the 751 is really, really important because that is usually the proof for somebody's status. So when you file a 751, you normally get a receipt. That receipt is an 18 months extension of your status. So a lot of people didn't really have that, and they were not able to continue employment, or if they needed to travel. So that was a big, big disaster with those 751s, and nobody knew what's going on. Even when you were calling the service center, they had no idea what was going on. Essentially, they were not telling the public that that was an issue. And the first time we learned about it was last week at that conference, where USCIS ombudsman person reported the fact that 751 had a big glitch, and as a result, they were not issuing receipts. Those receipts are really, really important. So it's being fixed right now, but if you're seeing this for the first time, be aware that that's a big issue. Another thing is forms are being rejected, essentially being sent back to applicants for not completing them completely. So for example, if you leave blanks on a form, on a 45 or I-130, instead of leaving blanks, you have to put NA, not available, or something like that. People that didn't complete certain boxes, their entire applications were rejected. And this has been happening in the past 6 months. Now, this is devastating because it resulted in people losing their petitions, they lost their status. Many things happened because of incomplete applications, whether they were filed by attorneys or people did it themselves. Some attorneys didn't even know about that as well. So remember, once again, petitions were being rejected for not completing the forms completely, meaning that do not leave box empty. People are missing the deadlines and overstaying the result, losing benefits. There was a case example that was brought to the attention of our association of somebody who was going through a asylum process, and they were filing for the adjustment of status for a spouse, and he left a few boxes empty on that form, date of birth or something, or country of birth, and the entire application was rejected, and that person lost their status, and now there's no guarantee that they'll be able to stay in the U.S. and finish the process. So it's devastating. So things like that have been happening. And again, this is something new. This wasn't a policy of USCIS in the past. If you'd send them an application and some boxes were left empty, they would still take it and continue to process the case. Worst case scenario, they would send you an RFE if it's a box that is really important, for example, like a date of birth or a name or a second name that wasn't missing. They would just send you an RFE and ask you to complete it. Now, they're rejecting full applications because they were not fully completed, essentially left blank certain sections of the application. So please be aware, when you complete your USCIS application, make sure you complete every single box on that application. Otherwise, it will be completely rejected. It will result in you missing a deadline or even more severe consequences to your status or your case. So once again, if you're not getting your receipts and it's been 6 weeks, make sure you email the lockbox where your case is filed and let them know that receipts were not issued, and they should be able to ask you for your tracking information, everything you need to show them that you actually did send the case, and they're going to try to help you. They promised that they're going to be starting to be more proactive, and they're going to look into the rejections of these empty forms because it created thousands of people who were harmed by this. And once again, it's important to know that if you were impacted by any of these, by the blank forms or the 751s or receipt delays, let me know in the comments. Also, an important update is that, as you remember, USCIS announced they're going to be more flexible with the deadlines, where if you have a deadline during the pandemic, they extended the deadlines by 60 days for appeals, for deadlines for RFEs and things like that. Well, we had a few cases where they didn't respect the deadline and they rejected cases because they came late, And I know more people are also experiencing that. So if you also experience a denial or rejection after a deadline that happened during the COVID period of extension, where they specifically gave extra 60 days for every deadline, let me know as well in the comments, because we need to gather more of that information so we can pass it to our association as they're preparing another lawsuit. Perfect. So we talked about a lot of things in this video. Let me know in the comments what you think. And also don't forget to join our private Facebook group if you want to continue the discussion and get information like this firsthand before it's released anywhere. Make sure you join the Facebook group. The link is in the description of this video. And once again, let me know what you think of other video topics and things that you're concerned about. I'll make sure to make those videos for you as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.